lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Hey guys, welcome to this very special episode of Operation PlayStation Plus, DashGamer.com's dedicated PlayStation podcast supplement. I'm one of your hosts, Dash, along with my co-host, Mr. Jeremy Braditich. What's going on, dude?
Hey man, I'm fucking buggered. How are you?
Me and you both, brother. It was early morning, 5:30, up and at 'em.
Bright and early, hop on camera.
Yeah.
Nothing wakes you up nice and easy more than waking up and then having two big bright lights shine directly into your eyes for close to an hour.
Yeah.
Talking as if you know what you're talking about, and then immediately going to work.
It was... I joined in the minimap stream. It was a lot of fun to sit there and watch yourself and Carrie give a little bit of commentary to this morning's...
you were not having it. You were not having it at all.
No, not at all. It was... I'll ask you, give me a simple yes or no before we dive into this. Was it worth it?
Okay. I think... So, like, I think the issue is... simple yes or no, and I'm immediately like, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think it was.
Why?
Because I think they're just gonna be like this for a while. Game announcements, game showcases, all that stuff, right? Like they're never gonna, for a long time, they're not gonna be what they used to be.
Yeah, but saying that, when if it's going to be like this, is it worth doing a showcase? Like, would you rather a showcase or to pimp it, or would you rather just kind of do a trailer dump?
I think, like, for Sony, I think it is because you get everybody talking about it.
Okay, yeah.
And I think they have to have their, like, E3, like, follow-up little thing. And I also think they can do it a whole lot better than this. Even with the exact same content, I think there's a way that they can do this a whole lot better.
Yeah.
But that doesn't actually benefit them in a way that they care about.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll get into. What about you? How did you...
Oh, this was not worth getting up for at 5:30.
Okay.
Sorry, but like even with God of War present and everything else, this whole showcase was it felt creatively all over the place. It just it did not feel like clean cut, tight showcase. You know, where they've been. I feel like there's a very tumultuous feeling every time a state of play or a presentation from Sony comes up because it's turbulence. It's total turbulence. Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Yeah. They can't stabilize their presentations at the moment and make sure that they're all just at least subpar. You know?
Yes.
It's either a good presentation or a bad presentation. This was a bad presentation. And
I think this is a poorly made presentation.
Yeah.
I think, like, thinking about it for a bit longer, it's not even the content was bad, because what was there it's not so bad in terms of the announcements. No. It's just it was really slow, and really bumpy for like a middle 2/3.
Yeah.
And then they ended the final section with just a ton of, genuinely exciting announcements and videos.
Yeah.
To the point where I got whiplash. And I feel like if they'd actually spread it out, then it would have felt like a really fucking solid 45 minutes. But it was really slow for 30 of those minutes.
Yep.
And then the last 10 minutes was full of stuff.
Yeah.
And it just was just so uneven.
We're going to get into all of it and break it down for you guys. If you didn't know, this is Operation PlayStation Plus, DashGamer.com's dedicated PlayStation podcast supplement. Where we dive deep and dirty and discover what the latest and greatest PlayStation have to offer in 2021. If you like what you hear today, make sure that you follow us over on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Give us those cheeky 5-star ratings. That surely help us out. And also catch the VOD over on dashgamer.com and on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that bell, give us a like, leave us a comment. It surely helps us out. Before we do jump in, small tidbit of housekeeping for those listening. Our Life is Strange, dashgamer.com's Life is Strange True Colors review will go live by the time you're listening to this, so make sure you jump over to dashgamer.com and check that out. Thanks to the kind folk over at Bandai Namco. And for yourself, Jezz?
Yeah, so Dash mentioned before, Kez and I streamed the showcase this morning. I ripped that VOD, threw it on the website. Feel free to head on over to minimap.com.au to watch Kerry and I react to it, and you can also see Dash's messages because they show up on screen as well.
I wasn't happy.
You can see him get mad and just say the word shit whenever something comes up that he doesn't like to see.
I was not happy. Jezz, let's break it down. So it started off with so first of all, this is not going to be an ordinary breakdown of usual state of play or presentation. I'm going to read through the list, and then we'll probably just go through what excited us the most from this presentation and talk about just how much of a disappointment it was. So I'll read off the list just quickly, and then we'll go off them. Sure. And here we go. So first off, there was Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, the remake, which was rumored. It was leaked a while ago as well. A lot of people knew about it. A lot of people knew it was coming. It was great to see, just kind of like a 2-second teaser at least, but it's nothing to write home about. So
yeah,
thumbs up. Project Eve looks awesome for the weebie in me, so I can't wait. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we break it down. Tiny Tina's Wonderland got a gameplay trailer. Journey with Frey to Forspoken's Fantastical World. Next one, so basically Project Athia got a name, which is now Forspoken. This game didn't click with me, to be honest, when I saw the trailer, so... Go ahead, I'll let you go for this one. We'll get there in a second. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction, more content for Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Alan Wake Remastered got a trailer. It looked awful. It did.
Scolding.
Grand Theft Auto 5 got another trailer. It's coming March 2022. And that game has always looked spectacular, so it'll be interesting. Vaporware Tokyo, or Ghostwire Tokyo, got a trailer. Only a launch window, and it's basically not even a window, it's a launch year, 2022. Breakdown the story. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. God, what a terrible trailer that was. It was so bad. Blood Hunt, which is the Vampire Masquerade sequel.
The multiplayer one.
That'll be out sometime this year. Deathloop got a trailer that was like 5 minutes too long for its worth, and Jezz says, it was only about 4 minutes. Fine. Then it was 4 minutes too long.
I'm glad we're finally seeing some Deathloop content, because, I just feel like we haven't seen any at all this year.
I believe that this one's called Chia. This one caught your eye, I know that, so we'll touch upon that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Uncharted Legacy of Thieves. We knew about the collection coming to PC for a while, but it's only Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy, not exactly the Nathan Drake collection and everything else. It's just the 2 games coming to PS5 and PC. That'll be interesting to talk about as well. Gran Turismo 7 got just something that was too long for what it was worth. And God of War Ragnarok, finally confirmed Ragnarok. You were wrong. Lucky you didn't bet a pizza on it. All right, so Jezz, out of that list, where do you want to start?
I think we should probably just go front to back.
Okay, cool. All right, front to back, or do you want from top to bottom or bottom to top?
It's up to you.
Let's start from the start. Knights of the Old Republic. What were your quick thoughts?
I mean, look, there's not a whole lot to say about an announcement of a game that got leaked, and we get to see a logo for it and path for even or whatever. Like cool. Like I want to see what that game looks like, and I want to know what kind of remake they are making. Is it going to be like the same game, like with taken from like the old game, thrown in with like new engine, new gameplay? but like same story and everything, or is it going to be like a proper from the ground up? Hey, we're going to do things differently this time, like Final Fantasy. Is it Blue Point or is it Final Fantasy? I think is what I'm curious about. Whereas Blue Point will make the same game brand new. Final Fantasy made a brand new game entirely. So like, I just want to know what kind of remake it's going to be.
Well, we know it's not Blue Point. It's
sure. Yeah. I just mean that style of
you mean like a remake style. I get you.
Yeah.
Look, honestly, KOTOR was great, and I emphasize was cool. They're making a remake for it. This is not Final Fantasy VII. You know, this is not something that's going to see something of grandeur in terms of a remake. It's gone to lift most of its framework from the original and then kind of add some touches to it. That's at least what I believe. Yeah, sure, it's from the ground up again, and it's what they want. You know, this is Star Wars is a major property. Disney are going to be all over it, make sure that it comes out nice and polished and everything. But I am not excited for it. I could care less about seeing KOTOR. Right. That's just my honest opinion.
Yeah, and like that's fair. I think like I've never played it, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Yeah. And I've.
You never played the original?
Back. No, never.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Youngster.
And I have thought about it multiple times over the years, but I thought about playing a game of that style from that that era, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be fighting that game throughout a lot of it because it's from that clunky RPG era.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
And so I think this is good because obviously Disney want to recanonize this, but they also want to make it available for people to experience that story again, who don't want to go back and play a 1999 BioWare RPG. Is it 1999?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. I'm pretty sure.
So look, I'm excited to see what this game looks like.
It appeases the younger audience that are Star Wars fanboys. So
yeah, and KOTOR is probably like the premier Star Wars game.
Yeah, it really is.
Like that and the original Battlefront 2, I guess, are like the top two for everybody. Yeah. And Battlefront 2 is a lot more enjoyably played nowadays still than this would be. So,
look, as somebody who's just kind of met on Star Wars altogether, like I enjoyed KOTOR when it came out initially. Thought it was an engaging gameplay loop. And yeah, when Kerry said it today during your stream, don't you want to play something that's like a Mass Effect styled Star Wars title? No. But that's just me. I know a lot of people would. It's gonna be great for those people, and that's fair. For me, not so much. But this Project Eve, this game is for me. This game looked grouse, man.
This game is for you.
Yeah, man. Look, Weeby, yeah, sure, but the game looked gorgeous. First of all, I love hack and slashes. I am into the whole sci-fi look of it as well, and funnily enough, not being into Star Wars and saying that about this title, I don't know, man, it just really really drew me because it reminded me, like when I first saw it, I was like, is this like Nier Automata or something? But apparently this game has been teased for like 9 months or so, and all of a sudden it got revealed today. It's by some Korean developer. So yeah, so what were your thoughts when you saw this?
I think it looks cool. Like it was, I spent half the trailer thinking it was Bayonetta. Mostly because she looks like Bayonetta, and then there was a giant angel in the sky but the original biblical like illustrations of what angels would have looked like, which is giant hell beast with wings and eyes. I'm not huge into these games either, but
you don't like Devil May Cry?
I've just never played it. Like I missed a lot of those games. Like DMC, like all the platinum style Ninja Theory or Team Ninja. Which one is it?
Team Ninja.
Ninja Theory is Hellblade.
That's right.
I just missed those games. So I'll be keen to give it a go. This looks like the kind of game that would come with a demo. I don't know why, but this looks like the kind of game that will give you a demo a few months prior to the game coming out, and I'll give that a shot if it exists.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It just kind of like it really screamed to me like, man, this looks like a Devil May Cry cross Bayonetta cross Nier Automata, and it's definitely my vibe. So very excited. I can't wait to see it when it launches.
It kind of looked like Final Fantasy Remake a bit as well.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah.
Some of the monsters in it very much reminded me of it too. Yeah, it's definitely a Korean developer, Shift Up, because the website eve.shiftup.co.kr, which is a Korean website. So
yeah,
interesting, man. I'm definitely excited for it. The next one we had was Tiny Tina's Wonderland. You got any thoughts? I don't. No. I mean, look, honestly, cool. 2K doing something with the Borderlands property. Thumbs up to them.
Yeah.
I really don't care. Forspoken. This was a weird one. Because
yes,
Project Athia
was a weird one.
Yeah, Project Athia looked great, like grouse when it wasn't first announced, like fantastic. Now that we're starting to kind of get an idea of these characters, and I said it in the chat with you guys, hey guys, Scalebound 2, because the delivery of this protagonist is like some soccer mum getting stuck in a fantasy world. And I was like, man, this is not connecting. What the fuck?
Yeah, the dialogue was really weird. Like, I'm not against, person gets picked up and thrown into other dimension.
Right.
I think that Square, for the most part, recently have had trouble delivering their dialogue in trailers. With Guardians, with Final Fantasy 16, with this.
And we'll get into Guardians, trust me.
And with that other game, which when they announced was live service last time, they put a bullet in it basically.
Yeah,
I forgot the name of it entirely. Anyway, like I think this reminded me of seeing Final Fantasy 15 for the first time, because the world is really bright and the world has got like all of like the particle effects. They've got that same style of like in this game. Like there was a part where she has like this gigantic like water orb, and when it hit the ground, the way the particles like lit up, it reminded me really, really heavily of Final Fantasy 15. And then I went to Google Luminous Productions. They have only worked on 2 games, and that is Forspoken and Final Fantasy 15. So that does track. Like I don't not like the character designs and stuff. I think they look kind of neat. I think the world looks pretty, but like the gameplay loop kind of looks a bit light and floaty, which is why I didn't love Final Fantasy 15 either.
So the pre-rendered CGI cutscenes in it look gorgeous, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The in-game cutscenes, horrendous.
Yeah. It's like the puppets, like they're standing there sort of like doing the generic like talking animation, but it's like and
not even that. It's also their models, their in-game models compared to their CGI pre-rendered cutscenes.
Right.
Completely different people.
I want to know. I want to know what the traversal is like, because this character's moving around really, really fast.
Yeah.
And the world looks really big, so I am curious to see how that.
Don't get me wrong. World looks gorgeous. World looks absolutely aesthetically gorgeous. Terrain design looks phenomenal. It's more or less the delivery of this trailer did not hit the mark.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good trailer for
no.
Maybe something that might be a lot better.
I hope they come out with something a lot better to describe this game and where it what's the narrative and where it's going. But
especially because it's a new IP, like new IPs you always want to do like really well, because it shows that they get to try something new a lot of the time.
Yeah. We'll see what happens further down the line. Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Extraction DLC, cool. Alan Wake Remastered. We discussed this on Ops earlier this week, if we wanted to see a remake. Fair enough. I saw it and I was like, I'm not convinced. This looks rough already.
It's the same PS3 game. It's just running on. Sorry, I got corrected about this earlier today. Never came out on PS3.
No, it came out on
360.
360, yep.
Yeah, it never hit PlayStation. So, look, I understand why it looks like this, because it's the same game.
It's the exact same game.
Yeah, just, probably upscaled, and I think they said new lighting. And
it's a lick of new paint over it with some, redesigned in-game modeling. That's about it.
Yeah.
There is nothing new about this. Like there was even Nibel. We were just talking about Nibel before we began. He actually posted 2 screenshots, one from the original and one from the remake that had been leaked, of like some of the differences. But the cutscene is exactly the same, meaning it's the exact same game. That like it's like, okay, there are people that haven't experienced Alan Wake. Yes. Yeah, right. But why would you want to sell these people an Xbox 360 game in 2021?
Yeah. I'm probably just going to stick to playing it on PC and hope that like I can either get the remaster. Wait, is it coming to PC? I think they...
I can't answer that for you. I'm guessing so. Hopefully. It wouldn't be an exclusive to PlayStation. I don't think so.
Well, no, because like they already announced that it's on Xbox as well. But like, I don't remember seeing the PC version get announced, but I could just be misremembering.
It would be on PC if it's coming to PS5 and Xbox. Yeah, here it is. Alan Wake Remastered. This is from The Verge. Alan Wake Remastered is coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Look, I just want to like. I'll probably just play it on PC.
I'm not playing it at all. Like it just like I've played it. I played it twice when it came to 360. Well, I don't need to play it. And honestly, even then, I was like, it was okay. I've never understood people making a big fuss about Alan Wake ever. I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was subpar.
I mean, Remedy have got their fans. You know, like they know how to make games that makes their fans really happy. And Control was like one of the times where they got to really burst out of that like cage. So like I can understand them wanting to go back to a property that like they obviously really love to work on. You know, considering they brought it into Control.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, there's a legacy there. So I guess they want to kind of just keep it attached to Control to prolong Control as an IP anyway. So it's fine. It's not for me. Whatever. GTA got their showcase that's coming in March. That's cool. Once again, Ghostwire Tokyo got a trailer. You got any thoughts?
I want to have a larger look at that game in terms of like I want them to give me a more uncut version of what that gameplay looks like, so I can see what the loop is like.
Yeah.
I
still don't understand it.
Yeah, like because I think the style of it is like super tight and it's really, really my jam.
Yeah.
But I just need more of an extended look.
Yeah. It really looks like one of those modern Japanese cinema action horror films, you know? And I'm into that, but I just don't understand the gameplay loop that they're trying to project here.
Yeah.
And like it just throws me off every time that they promote this game, because it honestly, the game should have been out by now. Like it's been like touted. It was touted for last year.
Well, like that game has gone through some pretty major structural changes.
Yeah,
because,
over and over.
Like like the there was a woman who, when that game got showed off, she was on stage and she was like, the internet fell in love with her.
Nakamura.
Yeah, Nakamura. Yeah, and then she left like 6 months later.
Yep.
But like, she didn't leave to go to the studio. She just left the company.
She left because she got pregnant, though.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But like, there's more than one person who has left that studio over.
Yeah, you're right. So the game
I remember seeing an article.
The game has gone through like 3 directors throughout its development period, which is concerning.
It is concerning
because when that happens, usually the game comes out the other end like shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a good thing as well that it's being held off in terms of a release, because you don't want the legacy of those 3 directors to be shit. Because Akumi Nakamura, it's not, like she left, but it was also for the fact that, she wants to leave to go start a family. That's one of the reasons. And then I don't know what the other excuses were or whatever it was for the other directors, but in the sake of the title being, it's coming to manifesting in some situation, you just want it to be good. You just want it to be good. So, look, for me, it's I'm okay with it being held off because it's one of those titles where it's like, if it happens, it happens. At least it's not going to cyberpunk it. I hope. We hope.
Yeah, you hope. And, I think the fact that we haven't seen a good, long, extended version of any of the gameplay is telling because it just might not be ready.
So let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy.
We have to.
Oh yeah, I know, right? I'll start with you because I got a few things to say about this. So
sure.
What were your thoughts when you saw this trailer? Go right ahead.
Like the dialogue and the jokes is pretty naff, and I still don't like the designs of most of the things in the.
Yeah.
The design of the Nova core is really weird. It's cool they got World Mind, the Nova thing, which is like kind of neat. But like I just don't care for this interpretation of those characters. I don't particularly like the direction of that game. And I remember seeing the gameplay at E3. It looked like it was like an Avengers spin-off, which is not a positive thing for me to say that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I have next to no feelings as somebody who truly, truly loves Marvel and like all of that stuff. Like the amount of Guardians comics I have prior to even the movie coming out, like, and this I care about as much as the Avengers game when it came out.
And that's exactly like you hit the nail on the head about the Avengers, like connecting the dots there with the Avengers to this game. Now, yeah, this trailer is rough again, and the first trailer was just as rough as this, and it almost feels like they were trying to kind of make you forget about the first trailer with this one because it kind of pushed a little more of a. There was more. I don't know. There was more dialogue than anything in this that kind of tried to make you think, oh, this is going to be kind of like how we know the Guardians of the Galaxy cinematically. No, it's not. This is terrible. This is something that needs to be halted. Like honestly, I look at this and I say to myself, I know it's too late to say that. They're well into it. They're probably going to release it really soon. Like it's
coming out this year. It's coming out in a month.
I know. I'm joking around. I'm just saying, like, this game here is I don't know, man. I'm scared for this game. Like, I'm worried it's going to get slammed.
Like probably, and like the decision to only have Star-Lord playable is pretty boring as well, and like the gameplay, like the actual game itself, like visually looks okay, but like the style of everything is just not a thing I'm a fan of. But they put Cosmo the Russian telepathic dog in it, which I like.
Yeah,
I like him.
Let me get down to brass tacks. All right,
yeah.
Let me be serious on this one for a second. Because it's not the interpretation that people know of commercially. I'm talking Chris Pratt, Dave Bautista, and all the rest of them, right? Vin Diesel, everything else. Because it's not them, there's a problem. And it's gonna sell poorly. People are gonna look at it and go, well, these aren't the Guardians of the Galaxy. Because they're not. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, you're trying to promote heavily on the comic book. That's fair.
But it's not even like the comic stuff, honestly.
And that's the thing. Like, it's not. It's almost, this is an original interpretation, but it doesn't land like you said, those jokes. Great word, by the way, naff, because it aptly describes the delivery of a lot of what was happening on screen. Star-Lord, that heartburn joke or whatever the hell he was doing at the start was atrocious. It was just like, am I supposed to laugh at that? That was terrible. Like, there was nothing here that made me go, man, this is day one for me.
Yeah, and like I think I'll disagree with you a little bit in terms of, I think this game actually is trying to pull on the movies, but in the same way that the Avengers game.
No. Say, don't get my messages mixed. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do a copy paste of the films, right? But it's not.
Well, it's different enough, and I think part of it is it's not quite the game's fault because like the issue is those movies are so loved so rewatched and they are so good and following that is really hard.
Exactly.
And I think the only time we've seen that happen is Spider-Man. And that's because like that game, that story, and the way those characters are written is just so good.
How funny is it though? Like you described that, and then when they remastered Spider-Man and brought it to PlayStation 5, they changed the look of the protagonist to look like, and not exactly because they couldn't sign off on it, Tom Holland. They got like some dollar store Tom Holland lookalike to play Spider-Man.
And to be fair, like that dude in real life also looks like Tom Holland, but exactly. like you can tell that was such a studio note that was passed down. Like someone higher up in Sony says that this Spider-Man doesn't look like our Spider-Man.
That's right.
We need to change something so that he looks like our Spider-Man. Whereas in these, they are the same style of the Avengers, the Guardians characters, but they're just a bit like they're the people were calling it at launch the porn versions of these characters. So look,
you're right, you're correct. But even then, like character designs, just I don't know, man. It looks cartoony compared to what they're trying to present as well. Like the universe, the galaxy around them looks spectacular.
Yeah, totally.
But then you have Drax, who looks like a clay model.
They do look weird. Like they do look weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's move on from Guardians because it's going to make me throw up. The next one is Blood Hunt. Blood Hunt. You got any thoughts on Blood Hunt? Not really. No, not at all. Cool. Deathloop. I mean, is there any more that we need to say about Deathloop? Not really. Like, it's coming. It's like 3 days away.
Yeah, no, it's real soon. There was a really great tweet by Imran Khan over at Fanbyte who said, let me quickly bring it up because if he wrote it kind of perfectly.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Deathloop on completing a full tour of every single PlayStation event since its debut last year.
It is though. Like every single I would have thought that this would have been the one that they omitted Deathloop.
They don't need to. It comes out so soon.
3 days. 3 days away. It's haven't reviews gone? No, reviews haven't gone live yet of the game. But have they? No, they haven't. I think it's sometime. It could be tonight actually of recording this. But anyway, like it's that close. You don't need to promote this game anymore, and especially landing a 3 to 4 minute trailer on a showcase. This was so out of place.
To be fair, I think this actually maybe the best or second best trailer that they've shown. But we have just seen so much of it.
Why so close to a release?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Anyway, the next one was Chia. I don't know how to say it. But this one caught your eye, so I'll let you have at it. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this game looks really, really pretty. This game is made by a studio which we were trying to pronounce before we started recording. Awaceb, we believe.
AWACEB.
Yeah, or Awakeb, perhaps.
Yeah.
They're a studio from New Caledonia.
Oh.
And it's like the description of the game is that they are making a game set in New Caledonia, and they're bringing a lot of like the what looks to be indigenous New Caledonian heritage stuff in it, which like I'm a big fan of when games are allowed to do that, especially locations that are very few times have I ever seen. I would even say I've never seen a game set in New Caledonia before, so I'm very curious to see what it's like. It's just very pretty, very cute, charming, and like I don't know, like these games always hit a soft spot for me, especially when they're in between, a Guardians of the Galaxy game, a Gran Turismo, an Uncharted, a God of War, right? Like having this game in the middle of it, like I love when that happens. And I wish Sony did it as much as they used to.
It looks good. I'll admit, this is something that I wouldn't regularly play, but it appeals, like it's appealing to me a little bit. However, I'll be honest with you, as a reviewer who lands like 10, 15 games a week, it's not something that would be up high on my list to play. So I'm probably going to be missing out on it, and just hearing it through word of mouth. So, but it looks fantastic, like aesthetically pleasing. Definitely, I love I also love the Breath of the Wild glider as well. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, look, I'll be interested to hear people's thoughts and gauge a response from when it's released.
Like what you're hearing today? Be sure to follow all Dash Gamer podcasts on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify by simply typing dashgamer.com into the search bar of your favorite podcast provider. And don't forget to check out our gaming, anime, and pop culture related news on dashgamer.com. Now back to the show.
Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, a collection. Once again, this was leaked a while ago. Cool. People are getting their hands on Uncharted on PC as well. Now PC gamers will be able to dive into number 4. Do you think that, though, without the first 3, this is kind of like a stifled collection?
It is a weird one. I did look up. So I'm 90% sure, which I'll double check. But Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 are all made on the same engine.
Yeah.
Whereas I want to believe that Uncharted 4 was made in Unreal. I will just double check that. I think it is weird because Uncharted 4 has got such like a legacy thing going on. They talk all about like Nate's like previous like
escapades.
Yeah, and like so no, I was wrong. Uncharted 4 and presumably Lost Legacy was just made on their in-house engine.
That's right, yeah. Because it was Uncharted 4 built off the Last of Us's engine.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that engine is a bit easier to bring to PCs than the one that was made for PS3 prior to that. Like I'm not too sure, unless they're all on the same engine. Who knows? But yeah, like I think it's. I think it is weird bringing only 4 and Lost Legacy. Like, I think those two were... I still think they're the best Uncharted's. 2's really good, but I still think 2 is just below 4 and Lost Legacy.
I still think that 2's the best, man.
Like, that's fair. Like, it's really close. Like, they're... Like, all of those are really good. I like, my personal preference is that Lost Legacy is the best.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that's coming along to the... PC as well for those folks, but like it's a weird one having 4 without 1, 2, and 3, considering how much they talk about Nate's past and his previous adventures and stuff. Not that it's necessary, because they do a good job of onboarding that stuff, but like it is just strange. What are your thoughts?
Look, as a big Uncharted fan, like I was huge Uncharted. This is something that's really cool because I love the fact that that players are now getting. Like people that haven't experienced Uncharted, they'll play 4 and then it'll be like, well, I'm interested to play 1 to 3, but the only way they're going to be able to play it is obviously on a PlayStation. Whether that's a PlayStation 4, 3, 5, if they can. It's also weird that they're bringing this to PC rather than considering The Last of Us Part 1 to PC. Because that is something that would sell units. Like, it would sell units, whether it be a PlayStation 4 Pro or a PS5. Because people would want to play the best version of The Last of Us, or Part 2. And I made the prediction that we would have seen The Last of Us Part 2 PS5 upgrade.
Yeah, I was, like, totally behind you with that prediction as well.
You weren't the only one. I spoke with Ryan Betson from the Pop Cultures the night before, and he was like, you're on the money.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I'm like,
nothing.
It's just weird that we still haven't gotten that. And they wouldn't even consider bringing The Last of Us to PC first before this, especially considering the fact that 1 to 3 is still omitted from PC.
I want to say, I think it might be because we're not going to see an Uncharted for a good while. Yeah. We will definitely see it again, but we're not going to see it for a while. Yeah. Whereas we're going to see more Last of Us ramping up going forward. And having The Last of Us 1 still be locked behind, like, having to own a PlayStation, I think would still sell them consoles.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, we're not going to see Nathan Drake for a while. We're not going to see, like, Nadine or Chloe for a while. they so they don't have to have that one behind the gate because there's no point. They're not Uncharted at the moment isn't selling any more units than what it was last year because there's not a new one coming out.
That's right.
And that's fine.
But they're gonna, you realize that they're gonna be paying, they're gonna charge customers $80 on Steam for that.
Yeah, I mean, Horizon when it came out was
$69, 80. I think it was $80. Yeah,
I think it was $80 because I think I remember changing my region in my Epic Games account
to get it cheaper
from a different region. Yeah, they're gonna charge too much for it.
Yeah.
And I bet you what they'll say is if you really want to play it, hop onto PlayStation and then you download a PlayStation Now version or whatever. In some capacity.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's cool, but yeah, price tag pending.
We'll definitely see when it lands. Gran Turismo 7 was shown off. The Forza killer. Please. Whatever.
I'm excited for this.
Are you? Really?
We haven't had a numbered GT in such a long time. Numbered Gran Turismos, I'm getting such a wank when I say this.
Yeah.
They mean something.
Why?
Because they go all out on those ones, and I want to see them go all out because Sport wasn't that, and Drive Club wasn't that, and then got delayed by 18 months. Drive Club was still good, but it wasn't that, and it had to get good after another year in live ops. I'm not even a huge driving fan, but I have such a soft spot for Gran Turismo 3, which I know was a while ago, and I know 5 was terrible, I think, or 6 was terrible.
It was awful.
Yeah. But I want to see what they've been cooking up for this long. I want to see a really good, really high-end Gran Turismo game on my PlayStation.
Have you got an Xbox Series X, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't have a soft spot for Forza.
Why?
I have a soft spot for Forza Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon's the best. Because
Forza, Motorsport, doesn't make me get my driver's license before it allows me to go into a race.
But
whereas fucking Gran Turismo 3 Aspect did. And I sat there doing tests for multiple PlayStations because I was a kid and I was shithouse at games. And I kept on failing the tests. And I don't remember if I ever passed. And so I don't know if I got to play any races in that game. But the fact that a game made me do that, I thought was incredible.
I still think this is going to suck. Look, they haven't been able to... They have not been able to... I know I'm being pessimistic, man. But they haven't been able to catch up to the magic that Forza has been able to produce. And
they haven't.
To be fair, when you say, you're not able to get your license and qualify and blah, 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 who gives a shit? Nobody wants to be waiting for,
No, nobody actually
You want to jump in and race. Don't fuck me. Don't turn around and tell me, you got to go pay for your license. Piss off. I'm in this to race. This is what I bought the game for. I've already paid to get into the game. Give me my race. Give me my fucking race. So it's no, man. Gran Turismo, I'm sorry, man, but there's a reason why Gran Turismo hasn't been able to recapture that magic since PlayStation 2.
Maybe this will be it. Maybe this will be the one that does it.
Oh, look, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But there's a reason I own an Xbox, man, and that's Forza.
I know. And, they've done some amazing work, and, this could be, the one that might beat out, Forza Horizon 5 or whatever. But then they sure do have Forza Motorsport, was it 8?
Man, the optimism is strong there when you said that one. I think you're projecting a little strongly.
I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it might.
Possibly.
But
you want a pizza?
No. But with whatever the next Forza Motorsport being the one that they're going to be working on the new engine for, the next gen Xbox Series only engine, I doubt it'll be able to catch up to whatever that's going to be.
Yeah.
But I can dream.
Dream harder, boy. And speaking of boy, I guess that's a great segue. Let's talk about God of War Ragnarok. This was the big one.
Yeah.
So we did discuss God of War being confirmed. Oh wait, we haven't discussed Spider-Man 2 yet, have we? No. We'll discuss that.
I was about to say this list that we're going off doesn't
have Spider-Man
include
2. Wow, that's interesting.
Or Wolverine.
Oh yeah, what? Yeah, there you go.
Where's the Insomniac rep in this PlayStation blog? Anyway.
Insomniac might fucking I don't know, they might fucking rip and tear a new one if they don't update that. We'll talk about those after this, but for God of War Ragnarok, this was I guess one of the big ones out of like the other out of the three we just discussed. First of all, you're wrong. It is Ragnarok, just as it was suggested.
I'm dead wrong. I'm fucking dead wrong.
And you know, like when I told you, hey Jezz, they put a fan made graphic into their call out there.
I will say that there was a video on Twitter of Cory Barlog doing a big thank you to all the fans and his team and all that stuff. He began that video with him wearing a God of War Ragnarok shirt where it had tape over the word Ragnarok, which he then took off to reveal the word Ragnarok. So that name wasn't announced prior to this trailer. That being said, it still ended up being the name that everybody thought it was.
But did you not remember when he said, remember the name?
Yeah, it wasn't just remember the name. It was remember the name, and then he posted somebody's name who's the director of the game.
Yeah, but it's Ragnarok is coming.
Yeah, but it wasn't called Ragnarok at that point.
Was it?
That would have been... No, what that is. So I'll tell you exactly what this is, because I have no insider knowledge, but I have a working mind, which is kind of broken at the moment.
No, look, don't get me wrong. I'll tell you now, no inside knowledge on the name.
Absolutely none. No. God of War Ragnarok was its working title, and it stuck, and they didn't get rid of it. That's how that worked.
Did you see the character model for 4 by any chance?
Yeah, interesting.
What were your thoughts? Yeah, what were your thoughts on that?
Cool. I don't know. Like, I wondered why they hid him from the trailer, and then the art director posted it on Twitter. I thought that was really strange. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like more God of War, to be honest. Like more God of War.
God of War.
God of War. I'm intrigued to see the dynamic between Atreus and Kratos in this, because it looks very much like Kratos is trying to hold himself back a little bit as, you know, the Kratos of old as we knew him. Not dad.
Yeah.
And it's weird to see now Atreus trying to encourage Kratos to be the old general. Like, hey, you know, like he says it in the trailer. Like, I made a mistake. You guys corrected me today when, you know, he turns around and says, "Can you stop being a father for once and think like a general?" And he just turns around and goes, "No." Yeah. And there's really now there's a shift in this dynamic that's completely swapped from the first. This is now where the boy is trying to now become the man, and also kind of aid his father in understanding, I guess. But there is some... obviously, not everything is told through this trailer, because, you know, they don't want to spoil anything that's too large. If you haven't played God of War yet, you know, I advise you do, because there's a lot more to this story than meets this trailer. Because if you're just looking at Ragnarok and saying, "Oh, I'll get into you're going to spoil it for yourself." But it really is. This really does kind of set the precipice that Atreus is now. It's not a rebellion against his father, but it's more. He's not rebelling against his dad, but it's more.
It's like a struggle.
Yeah. There's an emotional shift happening, and you really do feel like Atreus is starting to grow up. Like, and you know, you can see that he is, but
yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
You can tell that he's becoming a hot-headed teenager in a way, but also still having an emotional disconnect from his father. It almost seems like they converged at the end, like in terms of their emotions, they converged at the end of God of War, but it kind of now has kind of crossed again, and they've just gone off in their separate paths and now one is kind of convincing the father to be this warrior, and the father's like, I'm not going to show you that side of me anymore. So yeah. Anyway, what are your closing thoughts on this one? And we'll move to Spider-Man and Wolverine.
I don't particularly like God of War.
Okay.
The new one. And
you voiced your opinion today, and I was like, "Whoa."
No, yeah, I know I'm not in the majority of this one. I think it's a really, really well told story. Yep. And I think the gameplay was great, and it looked amazing, and the acting was really good, and the music was incredible, and all that good stuff. And I thought that the ending of the game undid a lot of what the story was trying to say. And my opinion on that game, which I do want to revisit, I do want to go back and replay through the entire thing again now that it's on, like, there's like a PS5 version of it, because I haven't played it since when it came out. But I think that game has an ending that goes against everything that the game is actually trying to say, by having Kratos sort of end the game almost the exact same way as he started it. Yeah. And also, like, showing love for his son when his son knows how to kill. I was like,
that's God of War, man. I mean,
I know, but like, and that's fine. Like, that's totally fine, as long as they don't pretend that it's out of like a thing out of his heart or something. Like, I felt that Kratos only started to love his son when his son started to become more like him. Which is the game is trying to say the opposite. The game is really trying to say the opposite, with all of the other stuff with like Freya and Baldur and all that stuff. So I'm curious to see how this goes. This this goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. The new one looks incredible. The locations, like everything, it will be a fucking stunning looking game, and I'm sure it'll play great. I'm very keen to throw that axe with DualSense. But like, I'm not a fan of this story, and so it'll be interesting to see how they try and stick the landing this time. Also, I did mention this as well this morning. It's going to be also different starting with both of the weapons in this game. Yeah. Because that was such a huge pivotal moment to the first game, and they're going to be looking for another moment like that, and I hope that they can find it because they really, really landed that moment in the first one. And I'm most excited to see the moments in this game.
Same. Look, that it's an emotional roller coaster, the first one, so I think that's what they're aiming for here. I just hope they don't overdo it. I hope they don't oversaturate with like those moments. It doesn't need it. We kind of passed that now with the first one. This one needs more character development for Atreus than anything. We know enough about Kratos. Gamers know more than enough about Kratos.
And I love that there's, more than one woman in this game, it looks like. Because,
they all look the same in the last one.
Well, fucking, there was only one woman in the last one. And the end of that game doesn't put her in a good place.
Oh, yeah, there was. Shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, were there two? No.
Who would be the other one? The other one is Kratos' dead.
That's right. You're right.
Dead wife.
Hell,
who we don't even see. Yeah, they're really bad on that part. This one looks better in that regard. At least they have
NPCs as well.
Color. Yeah, NPCs walking around. What a concept!
I love some of the animations on the NPCs as well. Look fantastic. So,
right.
I mean, look, it was great when it first came around in the 2018 release. So I have no doubts that they're going to smash it out of the park with this one. So we'll see when it lands next year. So, next year. It won't. So it'll be 2023. Let's talk a little bit about the Wolverine teaser. There wasn't much to go off. I mean, look, dingy bar that's been busted up. Obviously, people got into a fight, but you see Logan sitting at the bar. He's taking a sip of whatever the fuck he's drinking, and
whiskey.
Whiskey more than likely. Guy comes up with a knife to shank him, and out come
Sink.
What were your thoughts?
Interesting property, really interesting property. I wonder how that conversation went because Wolverine at the moment is not in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously Spider-Man is always going to be in the spotlight. Interesting that Insomniac are doing it as well.
Yeah.
Like, I sure hope those devs are getting enough sleep because holy hell, they are just pumping out games at the moment and games that look really cool.
They have to be split. They have to be split.
Oh, I'm sure they are, but I just like that is just so many projects. And like I'm glad that Marvel Marvel Disney specifically are willing to go to those properties, now that they own them again. So like, it's kind of wishy-washy in terms of how much they really care, but like it's good that they're willing to go for those properties.
Yeah.
It's good that they're willing to allow studios to make properties that isn't just for the things that they're currently releasing, which I think is really important, because the worst thing they could do is only say, all right, you can make properties for the stuff that we've got movies in the pipeline for the next 2 years. Anything else you can't touch.
Yeah.
Which is how I felt about Kingdom Hearts 3. So like, yeah, like I think that this could be something really cool. To want to do a Wolverine game means that you must have some really intense desire to do a Wolverine game. So hopefully that makes for a really good story. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really, really fascinated. And also, I'm pretty sure, it's not confirmed yet, but he was teasing it on Twitter. The voice of Wolverine, pretty high chance it's going to be Roger Clark, who did Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Who would be a great fit for that character.
So,
what are your thoughts on Wolverine?
I'll play it. I'm not as emotionally invested into the IP as Spider-Man.
Sure.
I don't know, man. It's just reintroducing intellectual properties from Marvel Studios or Marvel when they are established within the cinematic universe right now is tough. It's tough to get the imagery of Hugh Jackman out of your head.
Right, but he's not Wolverine anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, look, here's the thing. These are all technicalities, all right? Because you can say that, but Logan was not set within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So...
No, I know.
Yeah, you say that he's not, but he technically still is.
No, but he's never coming back.
No, but that's the thing, like...
And that movie was 2016. That was 6 years ago. Or 5 years ago. I can count.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know, man. I look, I have faith that Insomniac will pull it off. Anyway, I mean, look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man's great.
I know, right?
But you can't really gauge anything off this teaser. It's like, hey, Wolverine's coming.
It's cinematic.
That's about it. So for me, am I excited? I would have been more excited if the rest of this showcase was good. If it elevated, if it heightened my excitement. But because it wasn't, it was like, cool. So...
Well, let's jump into Spider-Man then.
Yeah, so let's jump into Spider-Man. This one was interesting because we had the scoop earlier this week that this was coming. And we didn't... First of all, let's put it out there that we didn't believe it.
No.
This was one that we both said, like when I read off that list of leaks, I immediately like discounted it. I said, there is no way. I'm dismissing this. This is just bullshit.
Yeah, because it looked like one of the things where, like, sure, of course they're going to make a Spider-Man 2. But
now,
like, yeah, like, are we going to see it today? No. We'll see it next year. Or it'll be announced, we'll have a logo. Yeah. But this was like, a CG trailer, but this was like, hey, like, Spider-Man 2, fucking, like, get ready. It's coming, son.
I know that Carey turned around and said, don't show me a date. And then it popped up at the end and he was like, oh, don't do that. I don't see this landing in 2023 though.
So I don't see it landing in 2023 from any other studio.
Yeah.
But like Insomniac haven't missed.
You're right. See,
they're just at the top of their game.
Are we ready for Spider-Man 2?
Not right now, but in 2023, yeah. 2023 will be.
Yeah, I'll give it that. I mean,
I think this actually hits a little bit like not weaker, but this hits a little bit more like I'm too familiar. Not even because Miles Morales came out like fairly late last year, but because the No Way Home trailer came out so recently. Everybody's had Spider-Man on the brain. Everybody's been thinking about Tom Holland and Tobey and Andrew, and that's been on the brain for the past like month. And I wonder if that trailer hadn't dropped, or if it wasn't time for another Spider-Man movie, this would have felt a bit more like, oh yeah, I love Spider-Man. Whereas everybody at the moment is like, yeah, I know I fucking love Spider-Man. It's fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah. I love Spider-Man. I love the game series. Miles Morales was excellent. 2023, I might be ready for it. I don't know if this was the right time to announce it. I honestly would have waited till next year.
I think because this game is coming out before Wolverine, they sort of had to show both. For them to show Wolverine and then to come out later, say, actually, you're going to get Spider-Man first. And I said this morning as well, I actually think we'll see another Ratchet and Clank before we see Wolverine. Because they seem to know how to release those relatively soon after announcing them. So I think we'll see Spider-Man next, and then about a year later we'll see another Ratchet and Clank, and then maybe like 18 months later then we'll see Wolverine come out. But like they seem to be a lot looser with showing off Ratchet and Clank really early, because it's not a property that does really anything outside of game circles. Whereas, you know, Spider-Man is transcendent. So I can understand why they wanted to show this a bit earlier, because they know like it's maybe one of, if not the most recognizable character in pop culture.
That's true.
Behind like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Mario.
Okay. Let's bounce back to the start. Now, this presentation was lackluster. Like, this was not their best showing.
No.
And even saying that, they had some spectacular reveals in Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine and God of War. You know, even saying the Uncharted collection on PC. Fantastic. But I still was so underwhelmed by this whole presentation. Like, there was nothing that I did not walk away satisfied. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Why?
So my theory is that it's because these presentations feel so dehumanized. Because we see Jim Ryan at the beginning, and we saw Herman Hulst at the end, and like I don't have any human connection to a lot of these games. These games to me are coming out and being made by studios and companies and corporations, and I don't feel like I know who's actually making these games. The Xbox showcase, for example, at E3, we saw a lot of people talk, or at least heard some voiceovers. You know, Pete Hines came out, showed off some Bethesda stuff. You know, we see Phil Spencer a bunch, but we see other people, and we see people that are passionate about making these games. I think it's one of the main reasons that a lot of the Nintendo Directs don't do very well. And that's because we usually just get the voiceover by the hosts in Nintendo Directs, whereas the Smash presentations and the Pokemon presentations as well, they are hosted by people who make the game. And so you can see that they're excited to show you something that they are so proud of what they've made. And they should be, because it's like, you know, anyone that ships a game deserves the world, because holy hell, it's such an impossible feat to do. And so this one felt like a really heavy marketing thing. It was just, hey, get ready. You're going to buy these soon. As opposed to, hey, we've been toiling away. We've been really working on this thing. We're really happy with it. We'd love to show you. And we hope you enjoy it. I see
you hit the nail on the head with Jim Ryan right at the beginning. That threw a spanner in the works. I was like, oh, this is not the way to begin this. People do not like this guy. Him coming,
he's not anything. He's just a
suit, man.
Yeah, he's a suit. He is.
the fact that he comes on to pimp out the PlayStation brand after the big fuck up that happened this week with Horizon.
Yeah, right.
And the statement that he put out that we covered, like, it was just that felt poisonous, if anything. It immediately took me away from the entire thing. Like, I felt like here comes like so apropos when I say here comes Scotty from marketing, here comes Jim Ryan from marketing, fucking just popping up on screen talking about how great PlayStation is as a brand. We know we're PlayStation gamers. We know this. We don't need.
It's 5:30 in the morning, and I'm getting ready to watch you.
That's right. We don't need you to sit there and talk about how PlayStation 5 has revolutionized the gaming hardware, blah, 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 blah. No, piss off, mate. Show me the game. Like, even when Herman Hulse came on screen, I even said it. And Herman Hulse is he's a legend. Like, Horizon, Gorilla.
He needs to run them. He needs to run these conferences, but he needs to be him.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen him in interviews. He's a pretty, he's easy to listen to.
Yeah, he really is.
And he knows what these are. It's more than just the thing that sells the box.
Yeah.
That's why he's in the position that he's in.
Yep.
You look at, for example, like comparing Phil Spencer's track record, like what he's mostly done over the past, like over his tenure, right, is like build an ecosystem. He hasn't even been releasing that many games. He's been in charge of a department that has bought a lot of companies, built a genuinely good ecosystem, and brought out boxes which are remarkably similar to the ones previously, just a lot better.
Yeah.
And that's not a slight. That's just what he's done.
Yeah.
The actual games he's released have been pretty far and few in between, but people love him.
Yeah.
And that's because he feels genuine when he talks.
Yep.
And he also is not afraid to just go out and like come out and just tell it like it is in a way that is like matter of fact and genuine. Of course, they have legal departments. It's Microsoft. I'm sure it's a bureaucratic nightmare internally in that company, right?
For sure.
But like he cuts through that.
Yeah.
And so when he's on stage or when he's doing his presentations and he's hidden an Xbox Series S in his bookcase behind him, and he's just in his office with all of his toys behind him, right?
Yeah.
Like it feels real, like it feels genuine.
Yeah.
Whether or not it is or not, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you want to know what he's going to be talking about because you like to hear about things that other people are excited about. That's just like human nature. I don't think I've ever seen Jim Ryan excited about anything. What do you reckon his office looks like? Do you reckon he's got anything on it?
No, it's four walls and a fucking desk. That bloke sits in an office and makes sure that he doesn't hear anything about gaming for like an entire day. He just needs to know what the earnings call is, and that's it. It's money.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell from that statement earlier this week, money. That's all he cares. Like, that's all they care. Look, yes, it's a business. Yes,
of course it's a business.
Yes, he has superiors that he has to answer to. Yes, he has stakeholders, investors that he has to answer to. No shit. He has to look at the stock market. He has to look at everything else. But when it comes to commercializing and campaigning, stay the fuck away from us. Just stay away. Because you're not doing it right now. At least I will give Jack Tretton, even though he was a suit, the benefit of the doubt that guy could take the stage and still market.
Yeah. He could make jokes.
Yeah.
Even
though he couldn't drop the mic.
He didn't write them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I think he played the fish out of water element in a way that he quite enjoyed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Even Kaz, like he was kind of fun and kind of dorky in that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like they need an identity shift, but like how can you shift identities when the person who like the issue is the person who like has taken control of that company? Yeah. Bring out Mark Cerny for fuck's sake. Like he's not even he's the most strangely well-spoken, the strangest, most well-spoken man I've ever heard.
To sleep though, that's the like he has the most soothing voice.
I know, but he also is so passionate and is maybe the smartest person in the entire industry because his mind is just like I can't even comprehend.
No, he's an intelligent man, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, don't bring out Mark Cerny. He'll put people to sleep with that ASMR, man. That's like that is so soothing.
I kind of love it.
When they did they talked about the chipset, when he talked about the chipset, the audio and everything, and they created.
So you mean the first information we ever got about the PlayStation 5?
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah, that presentation there, I was up for. Like I said, I'm going to stay up. Fuck it. I'll be tired at work tomorrow, but this is worth it, right? I made it probably about 10 minutes into the presentation while he was talking. I was out like a light, mate.
So was I. I woke up 15 minutes late and I started listening and then I fell asleep again. Like with it on. Like I left it on.
Because the bloke was so relaxing. And then they made that ASMR mix of it on YouTube. Fantastic stuff. Look, my closing. Look, I'll give closing thoughts and I'll hand it back to you to wrap it up.
Sure.
But yeah, this presentation, I don't want to say it sucked. It didn't suck. It was. I just still think it wasn't necessary, and that's up for debate. That's a matter of opinion to people whether they whether this was necessary or not. I think it's arguable in a way, but it's also, do we need the state of plays or showcases to really pimp out these trailers? No. Like,
it's a great question.
Like, in an all digital age, everything is on demand. You could just drop these trailers and websites will pick them up like that, and that's it. The job's done.
Or you can announce that there's going to be a PlayStation VR state of play and then accidentally just post the blog post to all the announcements like an hour prior.
Yeah. Look, I understand the idea of traction. I understand the idea of cross-marketing and everything. So, for example, that indie game that you love, in it, I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but
Chia.
Yeah, Chia. That probably wouldn't get eyeballs on it if it wasn't if people weren't watching a showcase.
Yeah.
There's that element to it. Understandable. Right? Yeah. But then there's the element of, do I really give a shit about Guardians of the Galaxy? Fuck no. Do I give a shit to see another Deathloop trailer right now? No. What am I here for? God of War. What am I here for? Spider-Man. That's it.
Yeah. This sort of felt like that they had a prerequisite marketing deal for a bunch of games.
Yeah.
And had to like fill them out. And when it feels that transparent, it's never enjoyable.
Yeah.
It felt really impersonal and felt really just like.
No, you're right. Disingenuous is a good word to describe it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one final thing to say.
Go right ahead.
I didn't get any of my predictions right.
None?
Not a single one.
What were they
PlayStation
again?
All-Stars Battle Royale 2 remains to be seen. Ape Escape by Team Asobi, also absent.
Terrible.
Silent Hill, not there. Fumito Ueda, disappeared. Although he's been on Twitter lately posting Ico concept art. Final Fantasy 16, also not here.
I got one.
What was your one?
God of War.
Oh, right, yeah.
God of War. The other one was Infamous. The third one was The Last of Us. And the pies... Yeah, don't even go there.
Yeah.
Guys, if you didn't know, this has been Operation PlayStation Plus-Gamer.com's dedicated PlayStation supplement podcast, where we dive deep and dirty and discover what the latest and greatest PlayStation have to offer in 2021. If you like what you heard, make sure you follow Mr. Jeremy Braditich over on Twitter at OB1Jezz, the other one. You can follow myself on Twitter. Right hand. I
never remember, and I freak out, and I second guess myself, and then I third and fourth guess myself.
You can follow myself on Twitter, right hand at @Gamer. Don't forget to follow the show over on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Give us those cheeky 5-star ratings. That surely help us out. Also catch the VOD over on Gamer.com and on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that bell, give us a like, leave us a comment. Make us your number one PlayStation destination here in Australia. Jezz, this was fun. 2 PlayStation pods in 1 week. A lot of fun.
Smashed it out.
Guys, we will catch you in another 2 weeks. But until then, this operation is complete.
all-dashgamer.com.